Dr Reena here. I'm a dental specialist and founder of RW Perio, located at 75 Harley Street. Welcome to my podcast, Life and Smile, where we talk about everything dental, lifestyle, business, and much more. Every episode, I'm joining conversation with a specialist expert in their chosen field, who give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse into their daily regime, career turning points, and an insider look at what they can't live without. As a businesswoman myself, it's so inspiring to hear how people have built their careers and shattered those glass ceilings. So let's get the conversation going. Dr. Reena here, welcoming you back for another inspiring episode of our Life and Smile podcast, now in season 5, recorded here at Harley Street in our recording studio. Joining me today is Bridget March, and I can't wait to get this conversation going. Bridget needs no introduction, of course. She is an award-winning multi-platform beauty director for Harper's Bazaar UK, overseeing all beauty content, including wellbeing. From news and interviews to tutorials and treatment reviews, Bridget is one of the most prominent figures in the beauty industry, providing the latest expert advice and ensuring that we all stay one step ahead of the latest trends and launches. Bridget, an official welcome to the Life and Smile podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for a lovely intro. Thanks for having me.
No, really great to have you here. So to start, you built a highly acclaimed award-winning career, as we mentioned, as a journalist and a beauty director, and your list of awards is highly impressive. To name a few, Online Beauty and Grooming Journalist of the Year, Fashion and Beauty Monitor Journalism Awards 2015, Best Online Beauty Journalist. I could go on. So you've had such an impressive career to date, but let's take it back to the beginning. Talk us through the early days and starting out, and then how your career progressed from there.
Thank you. Yes, of course. So I studied journalism at the University of Westminster, which I adored. And being in London, it was actually, I didn't quite realise at the time, but it enabled me to make the most of doing work experience whilst I was studying, which was brilliant. So I kind of, in my holidays would go into publishing companies and just sort of intern for free, as was completely normal back then. I know they've kind of changed the rules now on that, but I kind of got my foot in the door, if you will. And, straight after graduating, I was kind of freelancing, doing sort of odd jobs straight away into the digital side, which again was smart, but I didn't realize it was smart. But I kind of managed to sort of cut a corner by going straight into digital when not that many people were queuing up to go into digital. Most people were sort of interning for years at the glossy magazines, and I knew I wanted to be in that world, but I kind of saw this opening for the sort of the digital platforms that were sort of just launching around that time. Before, they were kind of very skeleton sort of sites for magazines, just sort of replicating what was on print. And then all of a sudden there was this new original daily content that was like a daily dose of a magazine. And I was kind of there right at the start, sort of going, I'll help with that, I'll build that, or I'll interview so-and-so for that, or let me try this treatment, for that after office hours, I'll do anything. And that was it, really. Kind of before I knew it, I was actually getting paid to do it. And I was like, wow, what is this dream job I've fallen into? So yeah, I worked my way up from that.
Nice. And so I guess it must have been quite unique being there right from the beginning, and then seeing it evolve, over time, because obviously things like social media, that's, it's massively changed, and it's constantly evolving. Did you find that quite interesting to see how things are changing with time, then you adapting your role?
It's been absolutely fascinating. Like you say, it was so small at first. And I started on this women's website called handbag.com. And I don't know if anyone out there will remember it, but it was kind of the first women's website at the time that was sort of producing lifestyle content across fashion and beauty that wasn't kind of affiliated to any other existing kind of heritage publication, if you will. Sadly, that didn't survive. After about 10 years, that closed. But it was owned by Hearst, who own all the magazines many of us know and love, and which is where I still am now. So I kind of moved across from handbag.com to Cosmopolitan, and there were 2 of us on the website. Right. It was me and the editor. And of course now Cosmo is huge. But I kind of came and went, and I started as editorial assistant. I sort of came back as a beauty editor when they actually sort of expanded the team, and then was beauty director there, sort of all digital. And it's blown my mind how much, how sophisticated it has become compared to what it
Of
was,
course, yeah.
when it was just sort of a two-man band. But
What's
yeah,
the
it's
s-
constantly
what's the
evolving
kind
and
of team
changing.
size now? Like, what are in on average with digital, these magazines? What team size would you say is normal?
I'd say, well, there's kind of six of us on the core sort of digital team at Harper's Bazaar at the moment. Um, but there are also these sort of central teams that feed into the editorial content. So whether that's e-commerce, SEO, or people working across multiple platforms, sort of on print and on digital, or working across multiple brands. So it's not very linear. It's kind of, and it's always changing and evolving. As we were just
Sure,
saying,
sure.
there's always sort of new ways of working being implemented. But
Nice.
yeah, it's definitely grown.
And over time, have you had any personal favorite subjects to be involved in, or pieces that have stood out for you? What's been the kind of best bit so far?
Absolutely. I mean, gosh, there's so many with the content you produce on digital. That it's there's a lot. There's a lot going out every day, and there's stuff that we kind of do year in, year out that is really enjoyable. Like it was the Met Gala
Yes.
this week, and that was super fun to kind of work on. I always look forward to those sort of big things, but really for me, I think it's kind of growing content areas and seeing how certain niches or franchises really bloom.
Mm.
So since I started at Harper's Bazaar, which is just coming up to 7 years ago, I established this sort of skincare section that we coined Skin School, and it's really a service offering where we sort of answer readers' questions about certain ingredients or certain skin issues they might be having, and really it's sort of, we've become authorities in the skincare area from sort of growing this content franchise that really now does so well via people searching for it. And I like to think that people know that they come to us for skincare, and sort of similarly with fragrance, we're really growing that area as well. And sort of the more entertainment side of things, like a series I launched on video called Inside My Beauty Bag, which is on our YouTube channel and also on our website. And we sort of spend time interviewing a celebrity who would take us through the contents of their beauty bag while sort of discussing their beauty philosophy. And it's really insightful, and they absolutely fly on YouTube. I know so many people watch them and love them, and it's just lovely sort of seeing those sort of one idea you had, a few years ago grow into something really successful, which is always really satisfying.
Nice. I love the skin school. Maybe we should do smile school next with all
Yeah,
dental things. Watch this space.
yeah.
um, so obviously
Okay,
your
I do.
career's been super impressive to date. If you now looked back on it, or say, what you're talking to your younger self, or there was someone who wanted to embark on a similar career journey, what would be the pieces of advice that you would give them? Of course, the landscape is a little different right now, but what would be your core pieces of advice for them?
I guess kind of finding a niche and going for it, and being smart about kind of your entry points. If something's sort of this industry is highly competitive, of course, but there are certain aspects of it that aren't as oversubscribed, I suppose, if you will.
Mm.
So, you know, perhaps trying to sort of be smart about how you enter it would be important. But also, I'm the first to admit I'm not the most confident person. So I would really try and tell myself, believe in yourself. Don't don't get too wrapped up in comparison culture and what other people are doing, and are you doing it as there's that whole kind of you feel insecure about whether you're good enough, and ultimately there is space for everyone, there's a place for everyone, and just focus on what you're doing and what you can offer. And I think what we try to do at at Harper's Bazaar, and the whole of Hearst, at Cosmo as well, of course, and is really trying to produce this content with purpose. There's a real sort of content pollution out there on the internet at the moment, and trying to bring something to the conversation that is of use, that is of service, or is really entertaining. It's trying to be worthwhile with what you're producing, instead of just putting stuff out there for the sake of it, to be in the game.
Yeah, no,
there's too much.
I love it. I think you got that appreciation for the listener or the viewer, that you're giving the attention to it, so you want to make it worthwhile, essentially, which is great.
Yeah.
What would you say is your proudest moment over the years? Is there a particular moment that stood out for you that you thought, okay, I'm super proud of myself with this?
Again, I'm not good at blowing my own trumpet, which is I should do more self promo. That's probably what I'd tell my younger self. You sort of speak about your achievements. But I guess winning awards is always like really, really validates things, and that's amazing recognition to have. But I think also just being able to do what I do every day. I feel so privileged to be able to sort of work for this incredible brand and work with these amazing people, and the people I get to meet, and essentially amplify their expertise, because all my content is me giving a voice to other experts. Often I'm always I'm not the skincare expert, the dermatologist is the skincare expert, for example, the makeup artist, or the amazing cosmetic dentist, or the surgeon, and just feel so privileged to be able to work with these people and sort of share their advice, where readers might not necessarily be able to access them in person on a one-to-one level, but I can sort of bring their expertise to a wider audience, essentially. Which makes me feel really good.
Amazing. So now moving on to, of course, another important role. You're obviously a mum. So exciting. You're pregnant with your third baby as well. So congratulations. And
Thank
something
you.
I kind of wanted to turn the topic towards in this episode was, being a mum in that kind of mama era, and also the links between pregnancy and gum health as well. And one of the things that we're finding, generally, people are more interested in oral health, their smile, what you can do about it, and the fact now that having good gum health and oral health is linked with the rest of your body and your general health. Have you found as well an increased sort of interest in health related matters with your viewers as well, with your readership? Do people, because obviously aesthetics is important, but do you feel like now there is that health first approach as well?
Absolutely. I think the intersection between health and beauty is just kind of ever crossing. And I think, more and more so people aren't seeing specific kind of health concerns as niche, or also kind of embarrassing, or something that's sort of not glamorous, so they don't talk about it. Everyone's talking about everything now, and I think that's one of the great things of social media. Actually, it's kind of it's given a mouthpiece to all kinds of issues, and I see that there's an appetite for information around these subjects, but there's also a lot of misinformation out there, isn't there? Especially sort of when you look at things that end up trending on TikTok and that kind of thing. So I think it is important for publications to be covering quite specific kind of health topics, such as oral health specifics, as much as aesthetics, like you say, or kind of other kind of fun things, elements of beauty and well-being, that perhaps there's definitely a place for them, but it's not all frivolous.
Yeah, makes sense. And going back to now, being a mom, having your work role, etc., how do you balance it all? How do you manage to, how do you organize your week? How do you balance everything so well?
It's, well, as you'll know, it is, the juggle is real for sure. So every week is slightly different, but I tend to kind of, I'll do half my time in the office and half my time at home,
Sure.
and I don't work Fridays. That's my day with my littlest, and so my husband and I kind of split our London days because he also goes into London for work and works from home.
Right.
So he'll do 2 days and I'll do 2 days, and on the 2 days he's doing it, I'm in London, I'm at meetings, I come back late, I I'm at events, I'm not sort of thinking about the pickups and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And when I'm here, I make sure like I am completely covering that. Sorry, here being at home, I'm
Yes.
speaking to you from home at the moment. Um, so, thank God for after school clubs and, the odd grandparent pickup and that kind of thing. But I am very hands on, we don't have a nanny or anything like
Right.
that. And we've moved out to the Cotswolds, which is
Lovely.
beautiful. So
Beautiful.
yeah, so have to sort of be very organised with the commuting, making sure my sort of trains are all booked
Yeah.
in advance, and it's a lot of planning essentially, I suppose. But yeah, we've kind of got it down with our little routine. Yeah, and I love it. I love to have the best of both worlds.
No, for sure. And it's nice that you're like 100% in. When you're on the work day, it's like 100% work, and then you have 100% kind of family time, which makes it a lot easier, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
Do you have like a
exactly.
typical day, or does it vary, like depending on events and meetings and things like that? Do you have a set kind of schedule, or is it's very dynamic throughout the year as well?
Yeah, it's really dynamic. There's always sort of lots of press events and meetings with experts and interviews with celebrities or experts. So whether they're done virtually or face to face, that sort of fills quite a lot of my week, which is really fun. And then yeah, it's kind of sort of big chunks of my day are spent writing or editing copy, or kind of going through video um, edits, like the celebrity inside my beauty bag recordings that I was talking about earlier. I commission features from freelancers, so they're sort of back and forth with that. So it's really varied. But yeah, it's kind of starting my day at 8:30, usually finishing around 5ish. I try and always sort of take little pockets of breaks, to everything I've learned from the experts
Yeah.
is, you've got to take time to move and look after yourself and not always eating at the desk and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
So, but you know what it's like in
No, for
reality.
sure,
It's
for
not as
sure.
easy.
What do you do sort of off duty? I mean, you must have a lot of beautiful places to visit in the Cotswolds in terms of walks and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is beautiful out here. So we do try and spend a lot of time in nature, which my kids love, and I've become more and more appreciative
Yeah.
of. I grew up here, and I just wanted to live in the city. I wanted to get to London. And then after 20 years, I realised actually I want to go back to nature. And I think just literally seeing green lowers my stress levels. And the wildlife, there's kind of wild horses and cows wandering around on the commons
Wow.
where we live. It's beautiful. So yeah, I do try and spend a lot of time sort of going out on walks. And I'm a big spa junkie as well. So I do a lot of staycations and visit a lot of spas, either with the kids, not necessarily taking them in the spas, but my husband and I might take it in turns for treatments, or kind of without the kids, when I can snatch an afternoon or something here or there. But we've got some gorgeous ones near us, like Calcott Manor, Cowley, Soho Farmhouse, of course, their Lazy Lake is beautiful. Dormy House. Yeah, we're spoilt for spas, but I
Wonderful.
do try and make it my mission to go and experience experience the creme de la creme of spas around the country, because it's also a content area that performs super well
sure.
for Harper's Bazaar. So our readers need to know,
Of course.
what's the
No,
best.
and seriously, I think
Yeah,
that self-care element is really important, especially when you're holding a super busy role. You've got 3 kids
yeah,
on the way. And yeah, I think that the self-care side of things, even with dental, people are now, like with skin, wanting to invest in their oral health. They're spending time on looking at products, brushing the teeth for longer, cleaning between their teeth. So I think things like that are such an important
yeah,
part of everyone's life, essentially. So I'm going to finish off with
yeah.
one question that I always enjoy asking our guests, which is 3 things we can always find at your desk or in your handbag as part of that sort of mini survival kit. What would they be for you?
Yeah. Well, talking of kind of oral care, I always carry one of those sort of toothpicks, like the
Yes,
TP,
yes.
um, or a similar brand, because since doing straightening, I did the clear
Yep.
aligners, and I've had edge bonding, kind of cosmetic
Mm-hmm.
bonding to sort of straighten them up. I find that I do get bits of food stuck in my teeth in different places to where I used to.
Sure.
It's just
Yep.
my teeth are slightly different, and I always have to sort of check in the mirror after eating. But I would hate to be kind of caught out and about, so I always carry a little pick to make sure that I can clean up anything that's stuck. So yeah, obsessed with those. And then I've got about 1 million lip balms on my desk, or lipsticks, lip balms,
Yep.
lip oils,
Yep.
lip glosses. Um, but I do always tend to go back to, for colour, and I always keep this in my handbag, the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner
Yes.
in Pillow Talk, which is kind of the ultimate nude that suits everyone. There's a sort of a medium, darker and lighter version, but it's definitely like a super flattering pinky rosy nude. And I kind of use the lip liner to sort of give my lips some definition, because I do feel like the lip line can erode a little bit with age,
Yep. Yep.
potentially, and so just give that definition back. And then I use that with a lip balm. So instead of a tinted lip balm,
Yes.
I tend to use that, because I find that tinted lip balms can look a bit too shiny
Yep. Yep.
sometimes. So I haven't found the one for me. So yeah, that little lip liner and lip balm combo hack is really good. And I'm a big SPF girl, of
Of course.
course,
Yeah.
being a beauty director. So I do like to top up with, I've got it on my desk here, it's the Ultraviolet SPF 50 reapplication mist. So
Nice.
that sort of sits really nicely over makeup. I mean, there's quite a few out there now. Garnier do a really good one that's very affordable, but it's nice, when I'm going on my little lunchtime walk, just to make sure that I know that I'm fully covered
Yeah, of course.
with the SPF. Yeah.
No, so important.
So that'd be my top 3.
Amazing. Well, Bridget, I know you're super busy, so thank you so much for your time. I'm sure our listeners
Thanks
really
for having
enjoyed
me.
that insight. As I said, super inspiring career. And if viewers would like to, and our listeners would like to keep in touch, where would be the best places to find you and your work?
So it's harpersbazaar.com/UK is the UK website, and the beauty channel is kind of all mine and my colleagues' work on there. And on socials, I am just at Bridget March. But yeah, we've got
Perfect.
some nice stuff coming up on the site. There's a really exciting beauty bag coming out.
Nice.
Yeah, lots more skin school coming. Lots of SPF
Brilliant.
recommendations for summer.
Lovely. Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.